In this video, we will cover Resizing Tools, Lecture 1, Column Widths. It is often useful to resize the width of a column to better display data. I utilize this almost every day as I always want to display my spreadsheets in the best possible manner. So how do you resize a column? Well, there are two ways to do so. The first method, which allows you to be exact in the size, is as follows. First, right-click the column header that you want to resize. Then select Column Width. This opens a dialog box where you can then type the desired size, then click Enter to accept. The second approach is to use the resize arrow. Place your cursor in between the column header you want to resize and the next adjacent column. This will turn your cursor into the icon shown on the slide. If you double-click it, it will automatically resize the column to the exact size of the largest field in that column. Alternatively, you can click and hold and then drag the column to the desired size. What if you want to adjust the column width of multiple columns at once? First, you need to select the columns you want to change. Start by highlighting the first column you want to highlight, then, while holding Control, select the remaining columns. Or, if they are all in a row together, just select the first column, and then while holding down the mouse, drag over to the last column you want to select. To resize the columns automatically to their maximum size, simply move your cursor once again in between one column and another adjacent column to turn the cursor into the resize arrow. Then double-click. Alternatively, you can click and drag the column to the desired size. This will apply the sizing to all selected columns. If you want all columns to be the same size and you know the desired size, then after selecting the columns you want to adjust, right-click on the column header and select Column Width. Then type the desired size and hit Enter. Now we will cover an Excel example to illustrate these resizing tools. Suppose we have the following Excel spreadsheet with data contained in columns. As can be seen, each column is not displaying the data properly. A lot of the data is hidden and cannot be seen by the user. What we need to do here is resize the columns, and we'll use the column resize tools that we just went over. The first method that we can do is we can select the column, right-click on the header, and choose Column Width. And then we can select a column width as a value. Suppose we choose 10. The problem with this method is that we don't know what the maximum size of the column should be yet. For example, we chose 10 and this value is still not displayed correctly. An easier method would be to highlight in between these two adjacent columns until the resize column arrow appears, and then double-click. This resizes the column to the maximum width that the column should be to display all the values. Another approach that we can do is we can highlight multiple cells and resize automatically. And this would automatically resize the column to each width that each column would require to be displayed fully. Alternatively, we can right-click and go Column Width, and we can select a size, say 15. Another thing that we can do to resize is we can actually click and we can drag the columns to various different sizes. We can also highlight multiple cells, click in between, resize one cell, let's say to 11.29, and that will actually resize each of these selected cells to 11.29. Alternatively, we could right-click, hit Column Width, and we can specify an exact size, such as 12.5. So now we've shown how to resize these fields. Again, best practices, you could automatically resize everything to the right size, but that won't always work. You see this header right here is longer than this field, so when you automatically resize it, it's too big. Another thing that you could do is try and drag it to about the same size. And then you can go to Column Width to see what size that is. Then, if you wanted to have each column the same width, you could then apply that column width to all columns so that they're evenly spaced.